I'm recording.
Are you waiting for me to say it? What it
I
is? What episode it is?
No, please don't tell anyone what episode it is. Let's just... God
is
fucking damn it.
The final episode.
I mean, that laugh is so grotesque. That's a real, like, sinister jerking off while laughing kind of chortle. And I don't like
And we
it.
did just talk about how this is going to be one of our more highbrow episodes.
I know, and I'm sitting here being like, you're horny for the final episode.
Well, obviously I am.
That's true, actually. I guess we all are horny for the notion of completing a task, and I guess just completing.
Doesn't it kind of feel like we're in purgatory now that we've done 155? Now we're just like trapped and we're kind of living on borrowed time and none of this should exist.
That's for sure the sensation of floating in nothingness that I'm feeling, combined with I've actually finally had to like go out and send a couple of like guest request emails because we're kind of down to it, and there's some stuff that I was like, oh yeah, I could probably make that happen, no problem, and now I'm like finding it's actually quite a problem. But all of my emails are like, it's Blink 155 because there's 155 songs in Blink's catalog, or there were when we started. Like, I'm just having to be glib about it now all the time. So, like, for sure, we're like tweens now. We're just like in our awkward phase.
Yeah, it's really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And so horny.
It's the thing. Yeah, it really is kind of like your tweenage head. Mm-hmm. But of course, the big news.
I'm drinking a horchata right now.
Oh, nice.
It's so good.
Love that sugary, milky goodness. I'm drinking like a Negroni, which is truly the horchata of gin-based cocktails, I think.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe. So
what's the big news, Sam?
The big news is, of course, the Polaris Music Prize shortlist was announced today. We know this is...
I thought you were going to... I was really excited that we get to talk about Twitter being down instead.
No, we want to talk about something that affects everyone who listens to the podcast, no matter where in the world they are. And, of course, I'm referring to those 10 select Canadian albums deemed the best by the genius intelligentsia of Canada's music journalism community, which you would be shocked to learn somehow comprises of at least 200 people. Josiah, who did you vote for?
I think that
just crunching that ice. Disgusting.
Yeah, sorry. It's really good. There's like a thick layer of horchata splooge at the bottom of the cup.
Just that milky chai.
What if I don't put the time code on this episode so that our people have to listen to the whole thing? If they come here for knowledge, they have to still listen to this part too.
I don't know. I'm learning.
I was on the Polaris jury many, many years ago, and then I wrote an article about how Canadian music sucks for Fast Forward, and it was a cover story. Probably either the final or first nail in the coffin of making the paper shut down. Hard to say.
Yeah.
And then I was kicked off the jury of the Polaris for writing this article, and then people were like, oh, how could you kick him off for voicing that the music is bad? You should let him back on. So then they let me back on. So I was back on the jury, but then they were like, if you want to be in the jury and vote, you have to do at least one post in our jurors forum a year. And I was like, fuck that. Talking to music journalists, that's a pass for me, baby. So I got kicked out for not doing a post in there, is what happened to me.
That sounds so fundamentally impossible. Punished for not posting. Absolutely not the Josiah Hughes story.
Well, that's my life right now. So that's the other. I mean,
it ties in. Look at that perfect.
That does tie in. Except, why are you making me talk about the Polaris? What you talk about the Polaris?
I have
you're like
nothing
friends
to say.
with them. You run the Polaris. All the problems with it are Sam's fault.
I knew it would kind of annoy you, and also be like a spectacularly alienating way to sort of start off the pod. And that's I have nothing to say about it, except that the way I remember it is that you weren't even on the jury when you wrote the big takedown, and then you subsequently were added to it because, you know, it was reasonable that you should have a spot, and then you didn't vote, and that's why you got kicked off.
Yeah, there was a lot of things I didn't do. There was a lot of things that to me felt like filling out forms or something. And I was like,
it is. That's literally what Polaris is. It's just a form that each...
Yeah.
each blogger in this country
voting does
fills
not work, everyone.
No.
That's the point.
Yeah.
If Twitter is down right now, and it's making me go on Twitter even more than before, somehow. They've banned blue checks.
Side effect. I was sort of bummed when you were like, all right, I'm ready to go, because I was like, I'm really enjoying Twitter right now. It's just
I don't know what happened.
Well, Bitcoin. That's it. Just too much great
It's Ashley's
Bitcoin.
fault.
It is 100% her fault. I'm going to let her know. But as a result, you've been put in Twitter jail. I've been put in, I guess, Twitter jail.
You didn't even notice. That's how little you tweet. You're like, no, Twitter still works for me. I can log in because that's how little you post.
I just like to look. I'm just a bit of a looker.
I like to watch.
I do. I want it. Like, that's the thing is, like, I feel like I'm on Twitter as much as you, but I just don't. I'm so nervous. I'm so shy.
I want to see what your last tweet was right now.
It was probably like
Torche
sick.
Torche just changed my fucking life.
Just for sure that. Yeah, because I'm
no, it was promo for last week's episode of the pod, so that's good. You've been a good boy.
Thanks. Thank you. What is my reward this week?
Your reward is I don't know. I mean, what is rewarding at this point?
I was kind of thinking this. I set you up with such an impossible task there, which is that nothing feels good or matters anymore.
We still haven't, and no one asked last week with the misdirect. We still haven't discussed what it meant when I said that you were cruising last week. So that's another thing.
I will say this. I got a text message from an unexpected, typically astute source inquiring about the Cruisin' USA cabinet that I bought.
Oh, like they thought it was real?
Yeah, like someone very close to me who is aware of what cruisin' actually meant in this sort of fun kind of
dick
context.
Thing. Yeah.
The dick thing, yeah. Was like, how did you not tell us? You really buried the lead. How did you not tell us you bought a Cruisin' USA cabinet?
I would love if you became like an arcade box restorer. That would be very cool.
I mean, I like everyone's developing strange hobbies. You're skateboarding. How unusual.
I'm barely skateboarding.
What's the update? Give us the skate.
It's
skate
nothing.
Date.
It's like I go in a straight line and then I jump off when it starts going too fast, and I'm too scared to turn. And there's constantly children everywhere at all hours making a mockery of me. It's mortifying.
What are the hot skate spots in your neighborhood that I won't? Have we said the name of your neighborhood? Or are we trying to still? No,
everyone knows where. Everyone knows precisely where. If you, I'm curious. Maybe you could DM me, I guess, if you. Why am I even saying this?
They can't DM you.
The Twitter and also, but maybe it's a blessing because the Blink-155 Twitter has been, and all of our social media has just been completely out of control lately. It's like unbearable.
Yeah, you've been having a tough time with the socials.
But I was going to say,
I have been no help as usual.
If you think you know where I live, tell me somehow. I'm curious if you know, if anyone knows where I live, not someone who's like been to my place or like my mailman or one of the many bike couriers or basically any service worker in Montreal does listen to the pod for some reason. But I have a feeling people just know where I live.
I mean, one of the ways that people could show how they know is to simply arrive at your home, since they can't use Twitter.
That's true, yeah. Please
I want
don't
someone
do
to
that.
show up and say anything but like with the pod playing.
You're actually so much more scared of the fans. Like I remember someone tried to sleep in your backyard. Actually, and it was a friend of mine too. I know who it was, but he was like, "I'm going to be in Toronto. Let me sleep in your backyard, Sam." And I feel like you just like didn't go on the internet for 2 weeks surrounding that.
Sorry, I like the idea of I'm afraid of the fans. I wouldn't let someone. I don't even have a backyard.
Well, then your living room. I thought you were a punk.
Right? Yeah. No, I'm not. When was the last time you let a band who was not like your close friends crash at your place?
Even if it's my close friends, like no. Something's broken in our apartment right now. You know what I mean?
It's amazing how there's always like. Ashley's brother is like staying with us a lot anytime like friends need to crash here. It's like, oh, sorry, we got the couch, but he's on it. So just, you know how it is.
Thank God no one knows what he looks like or what his name is.
Well, that's the thing. It's like distant enough where it's like my sister. Like I feel like we have too public of a relationship.
It's a whole thing.
Yeah, we could occasionally tweet at each other. Like it would be easy to determine that she's not here if one were so inclined.
Oh, wow. So we got to start tracking Ashley's brother for when shows can start again and when DIY bands can come through Toronto.
Yeah, exactly. Please, no one put him on Twitter. It would really ruin everything that I do to keep my house clean and punk free.
What if Twitter never works again for us? I mean,
would you? Everyone's joking, saying that they feel free, but would you feel free, or would you feel like you were trapped in some sort of purgatory where
I think
you could
that
look at the tweets but not engage?
If my Twitter never came back and I had the freedom still to tweet to almost as many followers through the Blink-155 account, and also not have to worry about it necessarily being connected to my public name and therefore my job, I think that would actually be really interesting and chaotic. Kind of into it. Like I said, we're sort of beyond our life expectancy, so why don't we just get really ugly and psychotic with it?
I like the idea that that's what you're like. I want it to be like as awful as possible now that I've got all this bonus time.
It's true. It's like I'm in the movie Palm Springs. I just wanted to say that last week I was saying that I didn't think I would like Palm Springs. And I did like it.
You said it in a way that made me feel like that was the title of the song. Like,
it kind of is.
Effortless lead up. I'm picturing you living to be 101 and just being like, these are, okay, past 100, that's full bonus years. And then like dabbling in all kinds of sinister shit. Like becoming a white supremacist. Just like wanting to know,
When I'm 101?
Yeah, just being like an occult.
That's going to be like a Johnny Knoxville movie or something.
Oh,
the 101. Oh, this is a terrible intro. No heart to speak of.
So Josiah, how do you feel about the song that we both know and love? Of course, I'm talking about No Heart.
Do you have a pun for it?
No. Do you like the song or not?
I would love if you did a pun. Just make one up. Like, just start the sentence now and make it, and just do it. Like it's an improv game. Just don't think. Just say it and turn it into a pun right now. Go.
Okay, so it's great to be doing the pod with you here in the coffee shop, sorry, we don't have the pizza with artichoke hearts. We have no heart to speak of.
Oh, wow, there you go. Beautiful.
Because there's a nice pizza place in Toronto that,
is?
Very rarely, I know, it's shocking, right? Very rarely get artichoke hearts on pizza, but sometimes do it there. It's real nice.
I can feel myself, like, every minute I live in Montreal, I become more of a food snob where it's like, if a bite of food is only very, very good and not, like, bringing tears to my eyes excellent, then I feel a little bit disappointed. So I can't wait to go back to Calgary or something.
Calgary didn't make you feel that way? Calgary food didn't fill you with the same energy?
No, that's what I'm saying. It's like it's getting really. It's been almost a year actually, and I'm even more pretentious than before. So it's pretty good.
The last time I had a meal in Montreal that was not with you and Sarah, Ashley and I went to a restaurant the night before our big
I think
show.
You've already talked about this.
Well, it seems relevant now.
And so Arcade Fire was there.
Yeah.
And I also ate breakfast beside Arcade Fire at Sundance the last time I went.
Damn.
And they were like whispering about firing their marketing person or something. It was really, really funny.
Really kind of fucked up the rollout of that record.
But
so.
How was the food at the Arcade Fire place?
Arcade Fire knows how to pick a restaurant. How was the food at the Sundance place that you were at with them?
Oh, it's just like the shitty restaurant inside the Marriott where you go to like get your passes and everything. But everyone eats there. Like all the celebs are forced to live sort of a middle class existence when they're at Sundance. So I mean, it's pretty funny.
At the hotel,
we were like eating the
Outback Steakhouse.
It's basically like I would say like a step above Denny's, maybe. But I mean, that's great for me. But the guy that plays Pennywise the Clown took the ketchup from our table while we were there as well. It's pretty cool.
Hold on, is that because you don't know his name, or you think that like
I can't remember his
listeners-
name. What's his name again? It's like
Skarsgård, right?
Machine or something. Yeah,
no,
okay.
aren't they? They're all Skarsgård.
Yeah. I get all my IKEA words confused.
Right, yeah. A lot of umlauts in there.
His name is John IKEA, I believe. I think, unfortunately, okay, two things.
Yeah.
First of all, the interview this week is fucking incredible. It's like, it's one of my favorite ones yet.
You've been amped on this since it happened.
That's coloring my view of the song. But also listening to it again, like, I don't think this in any way sounds like any version of Blink-182 that's ever existed. And I don't really think it's a Blink-182 song, but I think it's a pretty sick song.
Yeah. I was like, I put it on and I was like, oh my God, like a back half of 9 song. This is going to be great. And then it was like, it sort of reminded me of Black Rain, where I was like, do I think this is really like, I don't know, not fucking good, but fundamentally decent for what it is, which is absolutely, like you said, not a Blink-182 song, and not even like an Alkaline Trio song, like just like a alt rock song that Matt Skiba happens to sing.
Yeah, it sounds like what I imagine Stutterfly sounds like, although I can't remember what they actually sound like. But like that era of like, I guess it does kind of sound like an Atticus compilation band, maybe.
That seems fair, yeah.
Yeah, like it does have that. It's like very muscular, but not nu metal. Like it's still like emo. There's something about it that also almost reminds me of like latter shitty Modest Mouse, but then with like more of a muscular like Jeep emo sound.
What was that like Warped Tour kind of emo band that got signed to Maverick? Do you remember? It was like, oh damn,
Yeah.
Madonna signed an emo band.
I think it was. I think someone from that band is in The Nation. Actually,
What?
what are they? Unless I'm thinking of a different band. And now I really got to do some searching here.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to look up bands that were signed to. Now I'm just looking up the Mavericks. This isn't what.
Oh, Finch. Are you thinking of Finch?
No,
to
I'm
me
not,
it
but
does
Finch is,
kind of
like,
sound like
totally
Finch,
it.
right?
Yeah.
Because the dude from Finch is in The Nation. Shout out to him.
Oh shit! What it is to
Randy, what's
burn,
up?
baby.
Yeah. But it kind of like it sounds like that kind of music to me. But then with like the modern production makes it sound extremely Christian, especially at the start. Like it sounds like a Switchfoot song, which again is not something I dislike. Like I'm not mad about it. But yeah, so like I think this is better than Black Rain because it has that like sort of like macho sensey boy energy. But it doesn't have like any gross bits. Like there's really nothing too gross other than some of the drumming. And also there's a part where Matt Skiba like yells where it all of a sudden sounds like Third Eye Blind too.
Ooh, wow, that's to me it's like a little too like neutered radio rock, to which I guess Third Eye Blind is, but to be like it's not as good at doing that as Third Eye Blind is, but it is like it feels like a throwback. Like I think that's for sure something that we're both like kind of connecting with it. Like it sounds like it's like a comp song where you'd be like, oh shit, is this band good? And then they'd have no other good songs.
Yeah, that's actually how I felt about Thursday. And I know people love Thursday, and I'm sorry,
that is offensive, yeah.
They were on a comp. I think it was like maybe an anti-suicide comp or something. It was, I think, At the Drive-In was on it. I've never seen anyone ever talk about this compilation, but there was a live version of one of their songs, and the liveness made it sound more like lo-fi, and so I thought they were like more of like an actual true screamo band, whatever that means. So then I was like, oh shit, this Thursday song is so sick, and then none of it was ever as good. I gotta find that comp, and also we gotta do more comp reviews. I think that was fun.
It was
Patreon.
really fun. Yeah, comps are good. Plus, it lets you talk about a lot of things at once.
Yeah, which is an issue we have with this because we're always so just sort of profoundly focused at all times.
I think that's for sure. That's the thing that people are so attracted to about us. You know,
It's true, and they are attracted to us. It's kind of the main thing.
I know.
That's why they're listening.
There's that's an energy that carries through the pod. I'm trying to figure out who's this band. Who is this band that I'm thinking of?
Was it Stutterfly? They signed to Maverick.
No, it wasn't.
Stutterfly was on Maverick.
And it looks like Deftones, of course. That's not who I mean. And then Mest was apparently on Maverick.
Was it Mest that you're thinking of?
Not Mest.
Why was Madonna's label like a eyebrow piercing label for so long?
Yeah, with the rentals were some of these bands I don't think were on Maverick. Like this feels like I'm on Discogs now, looking at 200 versions of Around the Fur.
Wait, and Doja Cat, like the canceled current star, is on Maverick.
Love Spit Love was on. Yo, is Maverick a good record label?
Also, I've never heard. Like I'm so old that I'm aware of the name Doja Cat, but I don't think I've ever heard Doja Cat before. Have you?
The only Doja Cat song I know is the one that samples Blink-182.
Oh shit! Is there one?
Yeah, it's fucking good, actually. Do you want to hear it?
Sure, throw it in and watch together. Let's get this episode deleted.
Yeah, but like I feel like it's like a mixtape song or something. It's not.
There was like a Maverick book vertical too, and like
what?
Why? I feel like Madonna maybe threw too much of a Hail Mary with this project. Wait, Paul Oakenfold was on it too?
Again, none of this seems real. So this is like evidently.
You must be thinking of Mest, though. It has to be.
I don't think I'm thinking of Mest. I'm just gonna like spend this entire episode like
you can't even. It's one of those ones too where there's not enough information that you can't be like, "Hey Ashley, and then,
no, exactly. Okay, yeah, this is canceled Doja Cat.
She was like in a white supremacist group or something.
I only
chat
like
group?
What Candlebox was on Maverick?
Well, she's drawing a dick in this music video.
And Blink is playing, so it's like hard to hate that.
Oh, and skateboarding. That's like me. They're going in a straight line, kind of.
Muse.
Oh, yeah, I actually have heard this.
I mean, this sucks. How bad is what she did? Because I kind of like this.
I don't know. I don't feel
to discuss this.
I don't feel comfortable answering that.
At some point when we're doing covers, I'll maybe take a cruise through the controversy section of Wikipedia and see if I'm like full of regret.
I feel like she was like in an alt-right chat group that she regularly checked in on.
Whom amongst? Oh, regularly checked in. So it's not like she got accidentally added.
No,
to
she was like part of like a thriving alt-right community. So
thriving though. I mean, good for them. It takes work to make community work.
It's true. So where are we right now? What's going on?
We're talking about this sort of like mid 2000s, kind of like hoping for a crossover Warped Tour band.
It's like it's a song that makes me think of an eyebrow ring, but the eyebrow ring is actually working on the person who's wearing it.
Oh, that's cool.
If that makes sense. Like it's like it works, but it's not a Blink song for sure. And I still feel like such an absolute piece of shit nerd when I say that, but I do believe it. That there are some things that aren't Blink songs.
Yeah.
Like I'm sorry to be so rigid in my definition of what a Blink song should sound like, but this ain't it.
Listen, I'm looking at a lot of different pressings of the Deftones' White Pony, and so, for example, Pink Maggot is not a Blink-182 song. Passenger, Digital Bath.
I don't really care about
Deftones?
I don't really care about Deftones.
You're fucking wrong, man. History.
I know. I've heard that they're
you.
good. I'm sure. I believe it. It's just I don't know.
Time has really like proven.
It's like
the
it's
Deftones
just
lovers right.
Sometimes it's just nice to just like be like, I missed this, and I don't really care that much. It's fine.
Was Hometown Hero like a? That sounds like some fucking Christian pop punk band.
Are you just like reading the internet out loud right now? Basically?
No, I'm literally going through the Discogs page for Maverick. Lilyx.
Was it Lilyx you're thinking of?
I'm thinking about Lilyx. That's it.
Yeah, because the Maverick wiki only shows selected artists, but
I got it. I got it.
Okay.
Story of the year. This is like the best possible story of the year song.
Okay, play it and watch together.
Like, oh no! What I meant is this is the best possible story of the year song.
I thought you meant I don't think
No.
I've heard that band. Maybe I have.
Let's see if I'm right, given that we've already kind of decided that, there's no fucking hope for us.
There's no copyright on this episode. No
Is there?
copyright intended.
No copyright intended. Story of the year. Okay, so I'm gonna just real
To me, the
quick-
story of the year is probably going to be fucking COVID-19, the pandemic that rocked us all. Is going to
my
be the
God.
story of the year.
That's so funny. Oh, this was the song. This is it. Okay, I got it. 1 second. I think this is a good episode.
That was like the meanest you've ever been when you just said that's so funny to me. I'm hurt, but I have more respect for you now.
I was just explaining to Ashley before we started recording how, we've talked about this on the pod fairly recently, but that, in 5 years of doing this, I've never actually been annoyed at you, and I think, with the exception of the TV videos, and I feel like it's the same, and I'm so glad I finally crossed a line. You know what I mean? Oh shit.
Does that mean you were actually annoyed with me at my joke?
No, it meant that I was just not paying attention to you, and I was being sort of flippant and dismissive. Right? I actually think I nailed this.
Lying on the bathroom floor, thinking of the things that you said before.
Oh yeah. What a good hook though, you know it. This is this song. Fuck, this song is actually pretty good.
I don't like it. I don't like what these guys look like.
But this is what all these bands, when you were kind of describing them, I was I
Yeah.
feel like it's a band where all of the members are kind of fit and handsome, and you're like, this is not, I don't want to hear music from 5 just fit, handsome guys.
The singer kind of looks like a Christian country singer, though.
Oh, true. To the day I die. This was an okay song.
So this is still a band, hey? Speaking of living on borrowed time, I've noticed that, including on the story of the year Wikipedia, every band, has, their breakup period was only in the mid-2010s. This band was active from 1995 to 2011, and then from 2013 to present. So, 2012 was the year that everyone pretended to be broke up while they could redo their guarantees or whatever with their booking agents.
Yeah, that's true. Sometimes you got to rearrange things. I respect that.
I feel like the world just should maybe end. And thankfully, I think it is probably.
Yeah, don't worry,
the pod
man.
does, so.
It's literally happening. We'll be lucky
First,
to
it's
get
the
to-
blue
I hope-
checks. And
Yeah.
then-
I'll be honest, I do hope we get to finish the pod at this point.
I mean, I guess they're
so disappointing to me.
We're also kind of allowed to just do damn it whenever we want, I guess.
Right, they're just as insurance, be we're just going to do damn it next week because I don't feel good about our long-term viability as a species.
Oh, maybe
anymore.
we should start working on it and then have the episode ready to drop sort of when the world is ending.
Yeah. But what if we don't know? What if it's one? Because all of a sudden you just couldn't tweet. I feel like it's going to be one of those things where the lights are just going to go out. The internet is not going to turn on anymore, and we'll be sitting on a hard drive, a useless brick of a hard drive with our most important episode on it.
I would like to think that Libsyn is kind of like the Pirate Bay, where they have a island somewhere that they own with its own server.
Right. I think that's what we need is multiple redundancies. So or maybe a dead man switch. So if you and I don't,
every day,
not publish,
yeah, the damn it episode is ready to is set to go live every day at midnight, and we have to manually stop it. And then if neither of us does. No, we both have to do it with a key that we turn
same
at the
same time. We look at each other
on Zoom. Yeah, this could be good. Is there the technology? Can we maybe the Blue Yeti Corporation could work on that or something?
I think this is I think there's no way that we're the first podcast to think of it, but maybe we're the only podcast with the gumption to get it done.
So who's here from Poetry Academia right now? Let's get some interactions. Let's type P in the chat if you're.
Josiah, who's your favorite poet?
Oh, brother. I don't know.
Mark Hoppus of the band Blink-182 is my answer. Let's talk about the lyrics to No Heart to Speak Of.
Wait, before we do that, I do want to say something I wanted to say before. I pasted you with a link. You're not paying attention to me. You're just completely neglecting me this week. Good Lord.
I'm just on Twitter right now too. You're going to see all kinds of like.
No, I honestly am. It's quite fun to be honest.
Tell me what's up. Keep me updated in real time because I'm actually not.
I still can't tweet, and people are pretending that I've been saying all these things to them, like that how much I love Calgary and stuff. They're saying that this is what I wanted them to. They're saying all these things about me.
They're saying all these things. It really sounds like a drill tweet.
Let me see. Can I tweet now?
Are you posting right now?
I'm trying it out. No, it doesn't work.
I can see how you've really been sort of spooked into constantly posting after losing your prestigious Polaris Music Prize vote.
It's true. Bobby Olivier speaking of music writers, the most important group of people on earth. Speaking of music writers, Bobby Olivier at Billboard.com last year ranked every song on Blink-182's 9. Now that's quite a task there to take all of the songs and instead of using the running track listing order to instead opt to kind of weight them based on their inherent quality.
That's so interesting. I feel like this could really take off as a like online
ranking.
Format.
You think?
Yeah, ranking stuff.
Wow, I don't know if the world is ready.
No.
Whenever I see shit like this, I get so mad. I think we've also brought this up before this article, but I'm pretty mad about the order of these. But what I'm most mad about, maybe I'm not mad about it. I don't know. It's confusing to me that Bobby Olivier has his number one song from 9 is No Heart to Speak Of.
I mean,
we're getting close to the end of the album too, and the end of the pod, being that it is the final episode of this week. But what could you safely? I think we could each probably say what our favorite is on the album at this point.
Yeah, Blame It, Blame It.
Blame Me is yours. I think mine probably outside of the fun personal context of Blame Me. My favorite is probably On Some Emo Shit. Like that song I just love so much. I go back to it all the time. It's so good. I love it so much.
Okay.
But
second, if you were Bobby Olivier? By the way, just like an unbelievably great name. I was going to dunk on it, but it was just because I was jealous. Like there's something so fucking
good. But it's also like the name of like a guy that wears a Bape hoodie and like puts on a French Touch DJ night in like 2008. Like Bobby Olivier definitely hangs out with the Cobra Snake kind of name, you know?
Right. Yeah. Yep.
You like listen to his mixtape that he made on Mishka's website. That's kind of the vibe that I get from that name.
So mixtape Bobby Olivier.
It does make me think Bobby Olivier should perhaps be canceled by now, but some people did survive that era. So kudos to Bobby Olivier for surviving.
Yeah, the allegations against Bobby Olivier never sort of reached escape velocity because it was sort of pre-Me Too. This is horrible. This is a real person. I'm so sorry.
I'm so
We're
sorry,
just jealous.
Bobby Olivier.
Hey, that's a real full name. There's no way that if you're hanging out with Bobby Olivier, you'd call him Bobby. Although calling someone Olivier would actually be fucking tight.
Robert Olivier, pretty good. That's more for when he's older. When he pivots to something more esteemed.
Yeah. What about Robbie Olivier?
Robbie Olivier is more of like a British teen pop star, I think.
Oh, true, yeah.
The Oliviators.
They love and it's somehow like a sanded down version of like a Billie Eilish. Like it's like a little quirky, but just
it's like even quieter. It's even more whispery.
Yeah, exactly. Robbie Olivier.
So Bobby Olivier writes, "The great irony of 9 is for its modish, pop-leaning efforts. The best track on this album is an old-school, emo-era exploder that could have easily appeared on their 2003 self-titled effort." The first half of that sentence, I'm super on board with. I'm on the Olivier train. I'm just loving. I'm having a great time on the Olivier train. But I don't think this song could have been on their self-titled.
No, honestly, get me off the Olivier train. I'm going to find a new Olivier in my life. I'm sorry.
Get on the worldwide train, to be honest. But. And then he says, Skiba is given full reign to lay into the towering chorus a lovelorn gut punch that pop-punk lifers will be screaming before the end of the song. I don't know about that. Veers into, copywriting to me right now. But I do think Skiba's voice is, noticeably huge on this song. I will give him that.
I mean, Bobby Olivier agrees. Finally, Blink lets a very capable singer showcase what he can really do. More of this, please. Please. Bobby Olivier is practically, nay, literally begging.
Sure, Olivier posits. If Blink would have
Olivier, never before has a boy wanted more. Oh yeah, that felt fucking great.
I better check if this guy's on Twitter. Maybe we should.
Bobby Olivier is on Twitter, but I don't think that they have like more followers than you or I. So it's like this is okay. We're still just punching down.
It's punching down to tweet. It's punching down to make fun of people who are less popular than you.
Yeah. We only have 3 mutuals.
You're right.
Yeah.
We're untouchable. We're too big to fail. That's why we should have ended at 155.
I know. Imagine if we just put the Damn It episode out at 155 and just ignored like 20 other songs.
That would have been probably smart.
I think so.
Sure, if Blink would have went and made a whole album of this, Dissenters would have probably called them stubborn or stuck in the 2000s. But man, oh man, does No Heart to Speak of absolutely rip. Skiba feels in it for the long haul here, and the skittering piano and drum outro ties a pretty bow. There's a word missing. This the most propulsive Blink-182 song in recent memory, and it's not even close.
There's a real like music journalist bingo happening here, right? Like propulsive.
Bobby Olivier, I just want to say I feel like I know you. I feel like we've been through a lot together in these last 5 to 10 minutes that we've been riffing on your name. But I don't agree, buddy. I'm sorry. What are you talking about?
Well, it's interesting because I think he's nailed the era, but not the band. Like, it does sound like it's from 2003, but it just doesn't sound like Blink from that time. It sounds like...
Because Blink at that time was actually, like, genuinely experimental.
Oh, my God. Story of the Year's Page Avenue, from which Until the Day I Die emerges, came out in 2003.
There you go, Bobby. Wrong band, Bobby.
So huge too. I agree, Bobby. You were so close. You saw it. You nailed the year. To me, that's the most difficult part. You just got the band wrong.
Which fair. You were talking about Blink-182, so it makes sense that you would stick
within
their
mistake.
Discography, but
it does kind of sound like there is like you saying Finch, because I feel like that record came out on Drive-Thru, right? But like it is that same like big anthemic, edgy, but like a hook that would not be out of place, like, you know, against some milder radio material, right?
Yeah, but I also think that this isn't actually much of a left turn for the album either. I feel like we were surprised that most of the album was kind of like Linkin Park ass rock.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like, this almost feels like more of a thesis statement for Nine rather than a surprise.
True. Also, What It Is to Burn came out in 2002, so we're so close to sort of just capturing the energy of
this. We're so close to just tying up all the loose ends in this bit of Billboard clickbait that was written nearly a year ago.
But I don't think it's crazy. So what do you think is the second best song on this record? Because we're getting pretty fucking close to being done it, like you said.
Well, I think for me, it's Blame Me, Blame Me. It's On Some Emo Shit and Blame Me, Blame Me.
And yeah, I guess for me, it's Blame Me, Blame Me, and then Black Rain. But maybe this song? Like, maybe.
Yeah, like, I don't know why we just, like, were so cruel to this poor Billboard writer for so long, because maybe he's right also. Like, it's probably, despite it being so angsty and it makes you feel like you're wearing a toque with a brim while you listen to it, like, it's not embarrassing. And that's really all you can ask for from old people.
Although Bobby Olivier ranks I Really Wish I Hated You second, which, like, I barely remember how that goes. But
but that's the one. That's the one that was originally a Miley Cyrus song. I'm sure that like some label bigwigs forced him to put that up there.
Right? Yeah.
He works for Billboard.
That's true.
This ain't maximum rock and roll. Yeah. I don't know. I also feel like when I like look through the 9 track listing, I do remember. Like I remember liking the song Heaven. And I remember kind of liking Pin the Grenade.
Pin the Grenade gets stuck in my head. Like, even when I was scrolling, I saw it, and I was like, hey, wait. I was like, fuck, man. It's a good hook. If you don't love me, light on my face.
Damn,
like,
Bobby Olivier hates Generational Divide, though.
But, you know,
that's
the wrong
you were talking about
divide, man.
All the people you got to talk to. That's a song that we were saving for Matt Skiba, and I don't know if it's ever going to happen, especially if he's heard the pod before.
Well, we got it. So it's working its way through some mutuals, maybe. But they also commented, I hope he doesn't listen to any episode. So I just want to make this clear. Matt Skiba, if you're listening, this song is legitimately, as Bobby has pointed out, a spectacular display of what Skiba is capable of. Like, it lets him kind of go hog wild inside of this, like, really incredible range that he has. And when he's up there at the, like, you know, top end of his register, like, it sounds fucking good. Like, hearing that tone, that sound is, like, why I love Alkaline Trio. And it's something that outside of sort of select moments on California feels like we were really denied when he joined the band. And so it's funny to realize in retrospect that, like, oh, those moments do exist on this record. It's why I like Black Rain. It's why I'm going to keep listening to this song. But they're still, like, you know, muted in a way that makes me, you know, not prefer this to anything else that any of these people have ever done.
Right. I mean, also, don't you think it kind of just... Maybe it's because I haven't listened to this in so long, and I was listening to the microphones all day instead. But when I put this on, I was like... I was almost disgusted by the auto-tune of the oh. And, like, they said there was no whoa-ohs on this album, but instead it's a oh. And it was, like, hitting the back molars of my mouth, like, the sound.
Yeah. No, the intro's bad.
Yeah. But maybe that makes the rest of the song good.
Maybe it's kind of like the pod where you just, like, put all the, like, wow. We're not the only horny ones doing the pod today, it sounds like.
Yeah. Did you just hear that?
Yeah, just like a real, like a cat in heat, just, you know, begging for some affection back there.
Yeah, he's coming to say hi, but I didn't actually even hear the meow because I've got my 2 pairs of headphones on.
Right, you got your whole ass involved setup. But, like, it feels like the beginning is like, what's the word I'm looking for? It's designed to sort of check, you know, doubters, right? Like that it's gatekeeping effectively.
Right,
the song.
yeah, it's true.
So it's like, oh, you made it through? Okay, well, now we can be real with each other. The song's fucking awesome, actually.
Well,
but we wanted only true fans to appreciate it.
The reason that I chose this song for our guest this week is because I thought that it was like, it seemed so overwritten and like kind of gross to me. But then a little spoiler, he really likes these lyrics. And then sort of going through them with him, I realized what's nice about these lyrics versus other lyrics from this era of the band is like, they all kind of work with like, you can tell that the song is actually kind of about something. And they keep pointing back to like at least being about a topic instead of one of the ones where they're like, it's about the movie Spotlight. And also it's about when my hotel room got shut down or whatever. It's like, you know, like at least these lyrics seem to be about something, and sure, they're about a girl, but you know, that's fine.
What else is to write about, man?
It's true.
Did you think about like asking our guest to like review, say, your own lyrics? Because wouldn't you love to know what a poet, academic thinks of you know, you
Maybe
writing about people fighting you on the internet in
I
song?
should email him I should email him my lyrics. Do you want me to send him your lyrics too?
No, I couldn't handle it. I couldn't handle it.
I don't know. He's pretty kind about lyrics in general. I think he's just happy for people to be engaging in the written word, so to speak. But I don't know. Like we don't even need to go through them all, maybe. But
I did find like watching the lyric video that, as you know, as lyrics from this album go, there wasn't a ton of stuff that made me like, you know, super uncomfortable because it was so shitty.
Yeah, and even like lying on the bedroom floor, hanging on the words that you said before, no heart to speak of, dying on the bathroom floor, thinking of the life that we had before, no heart to speak of. Like, that's pretty good. And also, definitely, this is still, like, people in their 40s becoming 16-year-olds again. But it feels, like, realistic to me, too. Like,
I also wonder, again, if one of the reasons that the song's a little better is it's not as overwritten, and that's because it's just the band and Feldman.
Oh, yeah.
Which connects it to your, like, On Some Emo Shit, where, like, that's the only song without any co-writers. I don't know, Feldy doesn't even have
Feldman, yeah, he's not even on it. That's true.
Yeah, and so this is kind of like, and look at like California has its demerits, but it's obviously like I think light years better than this record, and maybe that's like when I hear this, I'm like, this doesn't sound like Old Blink. It actually sounds like it could have been on California, maybe.
Yeah,
like this in San Diego, like these sort of like.
I still don't think. I think this album fits on this record because it's still like this record has their version of experimenting in 2019 when they made this was like just like trying to sound like Jeep emo, like I said. Like,
yeah,
it's just like it still has this like bro-y brashness to it that fits on the record, but I don't know.
Is this
like
the first episode where you've said Jeep emo, by the way?
I think so, and it's just I
really
really like
good.
it. It just
yeah,
feels
it's fantastic. Right. Yeah, super happy for you, man.
I'm sorry to keep belaboring it, but when
no,
you invent a genre,
I'm glad you said
hope
it twice so that we were able to.
You hope it'll stick. Like
yeah,
this could be the new chill wave or the new. What's another thing like chill wave? Can't remember.
Witch House.
Blog rock, Witch House, all the ones that Carl's did, wherever he may be now. May he rest in peace.
What's the C one again?
The
C
one word?
The one that's like just Echo the Dolphin aesthetics.
Rihanna
C-Punk. Did C-Punk? Yeah, Rihanna. Yeah, I was like, okay. Rihanna did the one SNL performance.
Right. Okay, yeah. I got you. This is now just two men in their mid-30s trying to remember buzz genres from 2009.
Bring back C-Punk. That was a good aesthetic. I get that it's just kind of vaporwave.
I think it was just, C-Punk I feel like was just absorbed into normie culture. Like now everyone has C-Punk hair and the like leather the grease leather jacket together. Every blog mama.
Honestly, here's the thing. I think it's a great look.
Yeah, why not? I mean, with like a witch hat on top too, and then like one of those
I don't like the hats.
Bulletin boards where you put a little inspirational quote every morning for hubby. It's pretty cool.
That's
and for
nice.
your kids, Caitlin and COVID to see.
I'm gonna start doing that for Ashley. I'm gonna like leave little gratitudes, for my hubby.
I don't know what to say. I mean, it is kind of sad that the song is just about a girl, I guess.
Yeah, but I think you're right, though. It's just like this is a function of a band kind of knowing a little bit of what people want from them. Although the thing that I find kind of odd is like, when you write a song like this, like, is the audience that exists in your mind, because you are writing for them, the people who have been following your band for X number of years and are probably not experiencing like debility, like, if they're certainly going through breakups, but they're infinitely more crippling and debilitating than just like, I'm sad and I'm in the bathroom. It's like, it tends to be a lot more light, like maybe
you're dying on the bathroom floor for different reasons when you get to this age.
Yeah, like I just can't imagine. Like I'm very fortunate.
My freaking prostate is
right. Yeah,
the size of a. I don't know.
Maybe that's photographs of you are still haunting my halls. That's about the halls are the doctor's office, right?
It's his rectal exam.
Yeah. Still framed and blue. Say nothing. So that's like what X-rays or whatever, like a CAT scan kind of thing that says like we gotta get rid of your balls. Sacrifice myself, the essence of you.
Sacrifice.
Yeah. Leave me dead in the sun. Put me on a shelf. Of course, that's what you do when you have that part of your
Well, dead
body.
in the sun makes me think of like raisoning. Like now his scrotum is all like wrinkling away.
Yeah, it's true. Leave it there for everyone to see. Not sure about that. No, okay, now verse 2. Nothing left but scars. Right?
Oh, the song's about getting some sort of middle-aged man dick procedure.
That's
done.
what this is. Dick procedure soundtrack.
On a crumbling edge, he's injured from edging.
But like when you go through a breakup in your mid-30s, like is this the music that you listen to? I feel like you listen to like much more like cripplingly depressive music. I don't. I'm just assuming. I'm like, if Ashley walked out on me, I wouldn't.
I was
going to
say,
brother.
Perhaps we'll find out in a few more months, probably.
Yeah, it's true. We are testing.
We'll find out. Let's just dog ear this song.
Okay, let's come back. We'll do it as exclusive when we're both single again.
Well, I guess the other thing I was thinking is the reason that these songs don't sound like Blink-182 is that they've like it's weird when you are first learning guitar and first learning your favorite band's songs, and it's like an easy parody of guitar teachers to say like all your favorite bands are doing this or whatever, but it is funny when you learn that like they're always using the same chord progressions. Like Blink-182 is always using the Golden Four or whatever it's called. I can't remember what it's called. I don't remember anything. Or they're using like the Louie Louie 3-chord progression. And I think that like what's happening now is they're so sick of doing it that they're using different chord progressions. But I would argue that that's what makes pop punk similar to like jazz or something, is having these set rules that you then have to work within. And I think that's where they're losing the plot, is like they're doing like these weird, heavy, loud, quiet, loud, like different chord progressions that start in different areas and the chords move in. It's still very simple, but it's like, no, I think it's like, that's why Enema is such a good record, because it's all the chord progressions from Dude Ranch, but just like they're trying to find the fresh angle on something that they've beaten to death. And I think they could still be doing that now. And not only that, I think they could be doing that and be writing songs about like being depressed 40-year-olds. And it would be probably pretty good.
If Blink songs were about, just like being a sort of misanthropic grown-up, it would be fucking cool. It's interesting because I think we've circled around this idea before, but I feel like I've never heard you put it that way, and I actually think it's really interesting, is that like what I think you are attracted to about the sort of the notion of these kind of specific genres is the sort of inherent rigidity of it, and then what you do within that recognizable kind of template, and that it can force kind of greater creativity, or just like it brings out these interesting, at its best anyway, right? At its worst, it just becomes like templated and remarkably dull, and that's been a lot of this band's later career.
But that's kind of like that's the beautiful challenge of it, is to like, to use a biblical reference, to find the narrow path, so to speak, to like find a new way to do it that is still exciting to you, because this music that they're doing here is also very generic. It's just a different version of being generic that they've never done before. So it sounds fresh for them to do it, but it's just way, and I think that's why I really like On Some Emo Shit, because like it does have the chord progression of a standard Blink song, but then it has like weird bells and whistles that make it different and modern sounding.
But I just think the idea that like, how is that any different from jazz, right? Like you
or that, like when I was talking to Tim Heidecker, he was saying that he always found that like punk music was too like rigid and straightforward, and then I pointed out, but he loves like the Beatles and like classic songwriters too, which is the same kind of, like it's just people working within a set framework of rules that make what they're doing what it is. There's no difference between like using a blues chord progression or using this. I feel I'm such a fucking boomer right now when I talk. It's incredible. But I do think, that's what makes it like what it is. Like I feel like a Blink-182 song should probably only have those two chord progressions, or maybe like I think Dick Lips slightly changes it a little bit, but you know, don't go like way off the deep end and make this like weird Deftones music, even though I admit the song is still good. Man, this must be such a frustrating episode for everyone.
This one is, as opposed to all of our other like strictly illuminating. But no, it is like in that way, like how those chords kind of played with a punk beat is like, how is that different than sort of knowing a handful of jazz standards and then like filling in and making it unique, by tinkling the ivories. It's interesting, but this despite I guess like not being that thing that we want to describe, like feels like it works. I feel like if this song was on like a comp, it feels like a comp song.
It does feel like a comp song.
It's not just because you said it. It has that like, oh, I got this sampler at Warped Tour.
Yeah, and it feels like track honestly,
9.
It feels like a comp song, and I feel like it should be like Matt Skiba featuring Mark Hoppus, and that's what it should be credited as too. And then it would just like make sense.
Well, yeah, because like Mark feels so secondary, and I know we've talked about this on other 9 songs, but like it's still fucking weird to hear a Blink-182 song that is so light on Mark Hoppus until like, I mean, at this point, verse 2, right? Like on California, Mark sings every first verse. If Skiba gets a verse, it's verse 2, right?
Yeah.
And they're finally like free to, invert that a little bit here mostly to like results that you don't really notice. But like, if someone just put this on until you got to the Mark Hoppus part, you wouldn't be able to guess that it was Blink. And when Mark Hoppus started singing, you'd probably be like, is it a guest track? Is this like Mark Hoppus, say, singing on a Simple Plan song?
Ooh. I just did the grabbing the neck of my shirt thing when you said
How many
Simple
fucking
Plan.
members of that band? Like, it's gotten worse.
Yeah, I think it has. I think a lot of Simple Plan has been canceled in the last few weeks. So like, we're going to have to come up with a new band to talk about after we're done Blink-182 songs.
Both their bassist and their touring bassist. Like, it just seems like, how many bass players did they have, and were they all fucking predators? I guess the answer is 2 and yes.
Allegedly. Spoken by Sam Sutherland.
Right, yeah, just to make sure that's distinct. So, of course,
we already got to worry about Bobby
I'm
Olivier.
Josiah Hughes.
And I'm Sam Sutherland of This Exists fame.
Ooh, fame. I like
How can I pretend to? How can I steal your identity and use that to my benefit? I feel like the hardcore This Exists fans are a little bit scary to me, and I run the Blink-155 account.
Yeah, oh, that's interesting. Yeah, something that you still can experience fear. Wow. I'm just like looking at because I have Genius open still, and this came out in fall. Like, this came out in September 2019. I know this is really dumb, but I'm saying this because it is like the only thought in my mind right now. Doesn't that feel like literally another lifetime ago?
Yeah, it does.
Like, the idea that this song came out not 12 months ago, and I just like try to conceptualize like what we were doing and what our lives were like then, like just like absolutely fucked me up real quick. I just needed to share that.
I do think that it's April still right now.
Yeah, I kind of
really
still think
do.
it's mid-March.
We're also almost up to a year anniversary from our last live show when we had our live show in Montreal. Isn't that sad?
We're not going to be able to do a live show when this thing finishes, like for sure.
Yeah, because the pod will be done, and we're never going to speak to each other again.
Yeah, exactly. Oh God.
When it's over, we're gonna do that thing where we pace with guns and then turn around and shoot. And let me just tell you, I've been practicing. So,
sorry, did you explain it like that because you couldn't remember the word duel?
Yes, duel. Thank you.
And you watched Hamilton and wrote about it. I mean,
okay,
so
that was like don't talk about that.
Nothing.
I honestly, I almost that was almost a real fight when you told me your Hamilton opinion on GChat the other day.
I'm gonna save it for people. You can tweet at me. I'll let you know. I don't want to start a fight with Josiah on pod.
How you described it, what you compared it to, I was like pacing in my apartment.
I didn't realize you were a fan of the thing that I compared it to. I thought it was a safe comparison.
No, it's also like Sarah was pissed. I told Sarah what you said.
So I have some like work to do to sort of regain the trust of your household. Eh?
You need to listen and learn and do the work.
I'm ready. I'm totally ready. But yeah, I mean, fuck. Who cares?
Okay. Well, are we done talking about the lyrics? I don't know what else there is.
I feel like I had something that I really wanted to say.
Oh, I know what I was gonna say was that I do feel like they like all of that to say it not being a Blink-182 song. They're kind of like getting away with it and sneaking it in because Tom is gone, and I think that's why again it's just such a confusing and weird time. And I realize I've taken forever just to come to the same realization and opinion that pretty much most of the Blink-182 Reddit has as well, but. I don't know. What else do you want me to do?
Are you like crediting Reddit now with sort of
Reddit changed
more rapid
my life.
Intellectual development than you're capable of?
Reddit has changed my life.
I'm happy for you. I really am.
People must have the Reddit guy like tattooed on them, right?
Oh, for sure. It's called it's called a snood.
That's what that thing is called?
Yeah.
How do you know that?
Because I just know, man. I am also on the internet.
Apparently, more than me. Oh, wow. Yeah, there's a lot of tattoos of that little guy. Good Lord.
I mean, there's definitely also people with like the Twitter bird tattooed on them. Look that up. Like, what do you think's worse? What is the worst social media tattoo?
Well, someone has it with their @ on it. That's cool.
Yeah.
Someone should get my @ tattooed on them.
So this is like a sign of sort of like, just like truly, I think just like how diseased our online brains are.
Well, we've almost reached an hour of this episode so far, so that's pretty
I think
good.
we talked about the song a lot.
I think we have too. I think we've talked about it too much almost.
I think we should, like, just back off and kind of talk about
Well, then let's talk
Hamilton
about
some more.
I was trying to figure out, because I meant to look this up. You're not supposed to end a sentence with a word like "of," right? Like, that's not. I think that's not a grammatically great thing.
I feel like but it's got to be one of those things with an exception, because like Josiah has no heart to speak of is definitely a sentence.
That's true.
Yeah.
And I don't know why you said it like a newscaster.
Well, because it's not a thing you would like. Oh man, Josiah. Honestly, he's got no heart to speak of. Like, that's not a phrase that you would use just talking shit about you at the bar.
Yeah. I guess because it's like conversational, it's fine. But then I was just thinking, like, that does give it interesting SEO. So I was trying to see if there was other people who've used this very much in the past. But it does pretty much point just straight to this song.
Straight to the song.
I wonder if the songs they knew were better, they like gave titles that had better SEO, maybe.
Interesting. I mean, that is probably the kind of thing that they think about. Probably the kind of thing that a lot of artists think about. I know what it is. You were talking about this sort of like, man, who cares? We were talking about Wikipedia, and I ended up reading the Wikipedia page for Sugar Ray today. Do you...
Last week you said you've read someone's funny Wikipedia page as well.
Yeah, well, this is what I do. And I feel like I had a transition earlier and it was gone, but I still need to say it. Sugar Ray put out an album last year, and do you know what it was called, Josiah?
Oh, I think I did see what it was called, and I don't remember.
Maybe, because it must have been a thing. I just missed it. It's called Little Yachty, which, according to Wikipedia, is a play both on the rapper Lil Yachty and the fact that Mark McGrath considers Sugar Ray to be yacht rock, which I do not, but
I kind of think that makes sense.
Metal band to me.
Yeah, that's an excellent pretentious take. Also, have you ever heard the band that was Maroon 5 before Maroon 5?
Were they like a punk band?
Kinda, yeah. Wow. They're called Kara's Flowers, and they're on. They're also on Warner, I think. I just found this today because the bassist of Maroon 5 has stepped. A lot of bassists are getting canceled this week, so bassists beware. But the bassist of Maroon 5 was charged with like domestic violence or something, and he stepped down from the band. So there's going to be a real shortage of bassists by the time we're through COVID. So make sure everyone's getting your calluses up so you can step in.
This might be your time if you're a non-predatory bass player.
But this is the band Kara's Flowers with the song Soap Disco.
It's like how Goo Goo Dolls used to be a punk band, right?
Oh, Goo Goo Dolls is so sick.
Goo Goo Dolls are so sick.
This song is pretty tight, though.
Is this Adam Levine?
Yeah. He looks a lot, actually, creepier without all of his muscles and tattoos.
Yeah.
He's had a
lot of surgery, eh?
He seems like Jason Schwartzman in this.
I mean, he sings like Tom. This is good.
I know.
Like, he's got a completely different nose. He still looks good.
Yeah, but they have more of like incel energy in this.
Yeah,
and I feel like now
he doesn't feel like I'm. When I see Adam Levine, I'm like threatened. Like my body goes into a real fight or flight response, and I always choose flight, obviously.
But I feel like that's he's now getting revenge on the world for this era that he had to live through.
He's also playing the solo. Like, he's the lead guitar player in this band.
This song is sick.
This is so good. It sounds like the Rentals.
Yeah.
Was this
more bands sound like the Rentals?
This is a good band.
I don't know why I put that on.
Kara's Flowers. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm just going to add it on album.
Not a great name. Anyways, the phrase "no heart to speak of" Good SEO for them. That must have been how somehow we talked about Kara's flowers right now. But I did find this predates the song. It's a mixtape called No Heart to Speak Of from AZ The Fallen. Hell yeah. The art and production, it's like hard to tell if it's self-aware sometimes, but I don't think it is.
No.
It's like, this is like White Hopsin or something.
I mean, this is what Hamilton sounds like.
Come on.
Like if this was Lin-Manuel, like telling you about like a very important vote, come on.
Yeah, but instead it's like some guy who like probably does hard drugs out of an old Mountain Dew bottle.
Oh,
Like if Hamilton had that kind of energy, like scary, deeper than Juggalo kind of energy.
Like in one of those, like this guy's from like Toledo, you know?
Yeah.
This is good though.
Oh, there he said it. No heart to speak of.
Yeah.
So there, I actually, oops, wrong pause button. I found two things when I was searching this. So that's from the mixtape, and then there's also a music video from.
Oh shit. So AZ The Fallen is from the 636314 area of Missouri, St. Louis / St. Charles.
You know what? That's the uploader actually. I think maybe AZ The Fallen is a member of Cash Reap, but it seems like the artist might actually be Cash Reap. I can't really tell. The branding is a little all over the place.
Oh yeah, you're right. Okay, this is the title track from the No Heart to Speak Of mixtape.
Right, okay. And then this is called Save Me from the same mixtape. You can see how cool they are.
Oh,
they're
shit.
pretty sick.
So they're all juggalos.
And there's a booking phone number on the music video.
Yeah, I'll book them.
For what?
We can have up to 100 people
true.
at an event in Ontario soon.
But I think if they cross the border, they still have to quarantine for 14 days, and I don't think you can lie about Ashley's brother for that long.
You're like, I don't know what to say. He won't get up.
These guys sleeping on your couch. They're dipping.
Does this guy does he have just like, you know, some people just have like spooky blue eyes? Does he have those or contacts?
I think he has cool. Oh, it's hard to say.
Like that, yeah, they're borderline.
He either has like extremely the most tasteful version of those like contacts or scary demon eyes.
Yeah, like his eyes are basically like all pupil, like not all
has
black, but like there's no color really. It's like they're just so.
He has like a ring on his index finger that's basically just a knife coming off of it.
Fuck yeah.
Damn, I think I really need to like get into this genre.
I mean, yeah, just like Juggalo adjacent rap. Dude, when we started going to like every Juggalo show in Toronto, those are like the best shows I've ever seen.
I know, I went to the ICP Juggalo weekend in Calgary. It was fucking amazing.
Like, because there always is a local Juggalo scene, like, and so the sick thing is like when you go see those bands, you end up seeing like 10 local Juggalo acts, and it's so illuminating. Okay, AZ The Fallen is also Cash Reap.
Okay, so it's
an AKA.
Cool.
Yeah.
Worldwide Homicide by Cash Reap came out this year. Oh, I think I found Cash Reap on LinkedIn, maybe. Yeah, I did.
After we talked about LinkedIn on the pod, my profile views went up like 400%.
Yeah, mine went up a lot too, but I actually only use LinkedIn now. And this is the other sad thing that I've done is I've downloaded about 50 episodes of House Hunters International. I'm streaming them on Plex. And whenever I watch it, I always look up the people on LinkedIn. I don't know. Do you do that when you watch?
No. I've never thought to look if I'm watching like a reality show, I'll occasionally look people up on like Instagram and shit, but I don't think I've ever thought about LinkedIn.
I mean, I'll just Google them I'll do like a deep search. Like once I get that first and last name, I'll do a deep search, and I'll usually find out. Sometimes it's like, oh, they were actually only living there for like 2 months. This is bullshit. Mm-hmm. But sometimes it'll be really illuminating. Sometimes they'll still be there, and they'll have given birth to the child that I can learn the child. I mean, it's part of the experience, really.
Right, the continuing narrative, the House Hunters International Cinematic Universe.
So there's a few things that are like kind of off topic. I want to say they're off topic, but they're actually like the most on topic probably of the whole episode. Yeah. But so I'm just going to play a few YouTube videos that popped up in my searching. The first is just going to be audio for them, but for us, it's going to be great. This is uploaded by Phil Juco, and it's a tribute to Jesse Pinkman set to the song.
Sorry, I also love that you just made it fully us versus them. I don't think I've ever heard you refer to people who listen to this podcast as them.
That's what this... It used to be me versus you, and now it's us versus them.
Oh, wow. Okay, it's like Jesse Pinkman and the Bee in Apartment 23.
Bee, yeah. Man, Breaking Bad is so bad.
Here's like, the thing, Breaking Bad is so good.
But it's also like, it's like a Juggalo show.
Yeah, admittedly, also that season, like season 2, with the airplane accident and the bee, are like bad. Like that season sucks. It's like season 2 of Friday Night Lights. Like all these shows didn't know what they were doing for a while.
This song works as a Breaking Bad tribute so good. Yo, also. I just saw Landry kill someone in this. Landry was in this show too, I forgot.
Yeah, Landry killed like several people in this show. Landry kills a kid in this show.
And season. So if you got Landry killing people, then you know you're making something bad.
That's true. Yeah, you might want to rethink. No, by the time Landry started killing people on this show, the show was good again.
You need Landry to be playing in Crucifixorious only for it to be good.
Do you actually not like Breaking Bad, or do you just not like shirts that like are like Heisenberg and the Obey?
No, I think Breaking Bad is real. Like, I think it's really, really almost unforgivably pretentious. Like, I still watched it all and I liked a lot of it. It's not even
pretentious though. It's like populist.
I know, but it's like that gross. Like that's I think that's the definition of pretentious. It's like populist, but like thinking that it's Shakespeare. It's like if they would just admit that it's like a normie populist show, then I would like it more than instead of it being like it's like when we read that AV Club TV review together and it was all like quoting Proust or whatever.
Right.
You know, it's like I just think that's by very definition pretentious. But it is funny.
Perception though? Do you actually think like, because I don't know, like I don't think Vince Gilligan is necessarily like a deeply pretentious, like I'm making theater guy. You know, he's like an X-Files guy. X-Files was like perfect pulpy entertainment.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question. I'm not sure.
Like I think there's two. I think because I get what you're saying, and like God, talking about fucking prestige television is obviously a disease. But like everyone who came out of Sopranos, like writing staff, those people all think they're making like God tier art. But I kind of feel like maybe this is not the same thing. Maybe.
I also think it's like that's a question that people always ask me, and you've been asking me a lot lately, to like separate the art from the way that it's presented in society and the context of who's into it and everything. And I literally can't separate those things. I think that those are they're completely tied together always, no matter what.
You're bringing our Hamilton conversation into the pod now.
I know. I'm trying not to. We might have to have a Hamilton debate on Patreon.
Right, but a full-on like prepared remarks and responses.
Yeah, or maybe we should go on CBC's The Debaters.
Can you imagine? First of all, I've never listened to it, but in my mind it is like, here are two hosts of a modestly successful pop-punk podcast talking about whether or not Hamilton is good.
It's one of those things that's on the CBC where everyone's voice is so Canadian that it's like unbelievable that we even live here. Like I can't believe we live in. It's like when you watch Rick's rants and he just sounds like he's like having a stroke with his accent being so deeply Canadian.
Yeah, I mean, at least for him, it's like, you know, regional. The man is a newfie.
I think that's a slur. Maybe
it is actually. You're right. I apologize.
Now I gotta edit it out. Do I?
No, I
have to?
feel like you gotta. Well, yeah, you gotta bleep. Well, you actually could not bleep that because
It'll be much worse.
Yeah, like don't like me discovering. And please,
I'm gonna add one of the previous slurs you've said on here. I'm gonna paste it in.
Yeah, okay, sounds good.
Okay, so that was one thing that was off topic. Really does work well showing Jesse Pinkman with the B in apartment 23. That's the song. This song is like a Jesse Pinkman anthem for sure.
It is, yeah. You're right. It completely works. Like the melodrama of the two things is like perfectly matched.
So up next is somebody testing out a new GoPro drone, ripping the X6R. This is uploaded by Double O. Why Not is the username. I like how the Jesse Pinkman video didn't have this stupid intro. Whoa.
Oh shit.
Very disorienting.
Oh, I'm gonna be fucking sick. This person is going absolutely buck wild with a drone.
This feels like could you see yourself becoming a guy who like gets a drone and gets excited about it?
No, I can't, but that's because I'm not 50. Like as soon as that happens, like I've done a lot of stuff since I turned 30 that I never thought I'd do.
Well, we're gonna our generation is gonna be doing different things than getting drones, like maybe getting a skateboard or.
Yeah. Yeah. So no, I will absolutely fall prey to whatever this is when we're 50.
The song kind of works though with doing loops on a drone.
It's making me real fucking sick though. I'm not gonna lie. I gotta click away.
I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit to see if no, it's just yeah, that's very nauseating. It's definitely still kind of some extreme. I mean, that has some Pinkman energy to it as well, I think.
Yeah, because it felt like a sort of stonery, but like not stonery in a way that not my version of a stonery. Maybe a Jesse Pinkman version of what stonery.
Like it seems like this person who made this video might also have like a potato cannon kind of vibe. And the trifecta is complete because this final video with the song soundtracking it is up. Oh, it's the same user actually. Okay, maybe that explains it. I'm not sure, but this is a 1/6 scale RC racer monster truck driving through the forest set to the song.
What the fuck?
And I actually love this one because once the guy's not in the shot, it looks like these real trucks are driving through like giant trees.
Yeah. Once you lose like, oh damn.
It's cool.
Yeah, once you lose perspective, this is a cool type of
I know
YouTube content.
I'm kind of intrigued by RC monster truck videos. And also, like, they're not even driving through like a smooth area. They're just slowly cruising through some icy snow.
Yeah, they're not even puncturing the snow.
And there's a Ken doll in the driver's seat.
Oh.
Look at the details. Look at the details on these trucks.
Yeah, did you like? I had like a, whatever these were as a kid, but it was not this fucking finely tuned of a recreation. This is like a tiny real truck. You and I playing the song and watching this video in silence. Cool.
Yeah. It's really cool though.
It works though, like with the sun kind of cutting.
Oh, I see the guy now.
Yeah.
That ruins it.
That's way weirder. It's just a guy slowly walking behind these trucks, slowly driving through the forest.
Pretty popular channel.
I mean, I can see it. It's well shot with some Abramsy lens flare there through the pines.
Lots of ripping on some drones and lots of miniature trucks and whatnot cruising around. Pretty cool. Very cool content.
Very cool.
So that's the episode.
Just big. Great, man. We did it.
Now, before we get into covers, the final thing I got to play, which is not technically a cover. Oh, no, there's two things, actually. Okay, let's keep it in the YouTube content. This is No Heart to Speak Of being played. This is uploaded by Kiwi Soda with 2 A's. This is No Heart to Speak Of, but you're drowning in the ocean while it plays.
Okay.
I don't think this is what it would sound like. Where's the music coming from while you're drowning? Like, this one doesn't... Usually you can...
your earbuds in? Oh, maybe it's like playing on a boat above you. And you're scuba diving, but you're dying.
You think it would sound like this? I feel like there'd be more movement.
I don't think you'd be able to hear, really. But you're
And also,
drowning.
how long does it take to drown, also?
I assume it depends. You know, like, is it exhaustion? Is it cold? Like in just a pool where you're being held underwater.
A person can drown in less than 60 seconds. How does that make sense? Like if you're already inhaling as you go under or something?
Yeah, like if you can't swim, right, and you're thrashing and you swallow water, you just die.
The fuck is dry drowning? Is that what you keep your clothes on?
yeah. It's when you get swirlied to death.
I don't know if this sounds like you're drowning, and also at some point we should die while we're listening to this, but there's still 3.5 minutes left.
Right. Oh,
Did they slow it down?
I think so. I guess because your perception of...
Wouldn't there be more like bubbly water sounds, and maybe Echo the dolphin would be there?
Right, yeah. The dolphins come to save you. Okay, so...
Is it
dry
slowing
drowning,
as it goes?
I think so. It doesn't feel good. Dry drowning is, I guess, when you swallow a bunch of water, like panicking you're drowning, you end up being saved, but you still die, I guess.
You still drown.
It's not a medical term. It's called post-immersion syndrome.
What if you're still wet from the water?
Maybe you get dried off very quickly.
What about like damp drowning? Is that a thing?
Yeah, splash drowning. Wave pool. This is stupid.
I mean, so there. That's what it would sound like if you were listening to the song "No Hard to Speak Of" by Blink-182 while you're drowning.
Damn, that was terrifying.
Finally, before we get into covers, this is uploaded by a YouTuber named, or I guess it's not. It's re-uploaded by someone else, but the YouTuber it's credited to is called Blinkface, which feels like a problematic name right now in this time in history. You don't want to be doing any kind of bull faces. You know,
yeah,
it's kind
that's
of
true.
like, but this is a mashup of "Stay Together for the Kids" with "No Hard to Speak Of."
Oh yeah, this is good.
There's a lot of things that, yeah, I heard a bit of this one earlier and it made me think of a lot of things.
It's hard to wake up when the shades have been pulled shut. This house is haunted, so pathetic, makes no sense at all. I'm ripe with things to say, the words rot and fall away.
It's sort of like not perfect, but I like it.
Fix this home, I'd read it every day.
Okay. The execution is not perfect, but it works.
I mean, the guitar at the start and also the singing are both so much more clumsy and human sounding. Not just because of how it's mashed up, but I feel like just like back then it didn't sound so much like a Michael Bay movie.
Yeah, no, it's just like, I mean, that sounds like a human playing a guitar, right?
Yeah, and then even the way Mark is kind of enunciating and singing, like he sounds like a human being and not like the latest plugins or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Damn, I miss it. I miss the good old days, you know? Real rock and roll music.
Me too. I miss when you could listen to the grooves on your vinyl records and go down to the local malt shop and pick out a gal and marry her. Here's the nightcore version.
Yeah. Oh.
It sounds like a dying chipmunk.
It's a wounded cry.
Photographs of you are still haunting my home. Still framed in blue. Say nothing at all. Sacrifice myself. Leave me dead in the sun. Put it on a shelf. Leave it there for everyone to see. Is that all you have? Is that all you have to say? Lying on the bedroom floor, hanging on the words that you said before. No
I don't love the Nightcore ones when they're mid tempo.
I didn't like that. Why?
Yeah, it's not. I think just because it's Nightcore sounds sick when it's like a pop punk beat, because then it sounds like Dance Dance Revolution. But when it's vibey and grooving, you just got to let it be vibey and grooving.
Yeah, it somehow made it more middling.
It's true, but I will say something I was reminded of while listening to it is that I said something that I didn't like the drums in this earlier. I mostly just don't like the drums at the end when he starts really showing off, but I like all the drums in the song are like so absurd. It sounds like he's using like 50 different snares, and I do like that. It's like sounds like a 3D mix of snares somehow.
Yeah, it's true. All the dimensions of snares finally there for you.
It's true. I love it. Okay, this is an angsty boy I've written down. This is Nick Fauza doing a full band cover of No Heart to Speak Of.
Just think about how nice it would be to be in a hoodie in a basement.
Yeah.
Like, look how fucking cozy.
He has like different colors of hoodies for all of his different instruments too. This kid also like, is he 12 or is he like 25?
I mean, at most, this kid is 19. This is a boy. This is a boy who shreds on every instrument.
He's in the most classic looking basement ever. There's like some sort of pipe that's wrapped in tinfoil, like a sewage pipe or something. This song does really like bring out the angsty teen in all of us.
Is the drummer the same guy?
Yeah,
He's great.
he looks older when he drums, kinda.
Yeah, he's got mature hands.
It's a very creepy thing to say.
What? I don't play bass. It's fine.
That's true.
Please, even like the high parts sound good.
Yeah,
Great.
He's doing pretty good. Good work, Nick Fauza.
Nick.
Whenever I see a kid do this by themselves, and it's such an angsty, emotional song, I just always assume that they didn't get invited to a party. And that's
Right,
so
this is what they
spend
did
their
that night? Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, you know what? Good. I'm glad you didn't get invited to that party. Those people are peaking right now, Nick.
Is that the perspective that you inhabited when you wrote, the Booker Snot song?
Yeah, definitely it is. Exactly.
Only problem is I never got invite.
Life's so boring. Yeah, go to Blink 155 Bandcamp. I forget what the URL is right now.
People will figure it out.
Oh, I'm drinking a sapsucker now, by the way.
Ooh, I've got a lemon sparkling water from the PC Blue Menu. Gotta say, tastes weird. I have concerns.
Even the blue menu is PC now. Makes me sick. Okay.
That's good, actually, though.
Wow, you're really enthusiastically loving my jokes today.
Oh, that's a good joke, man. Listen, it's a hard time for everyone.
This is Lucas Hardy. He's the guy that we always watch.
Yeah, the gamer chair. Oh, also in a hoodie.
This song does make you want to be in your hoodie and be all squished in with your feelings.
Yeah, just canoodling with myself. I'm emotional.
I feel like this guy has a way nicer looking acoustic guitar than fits the rest of his aesthetic. It's like a nice dark wood. And he has like a bright orange pop screen and he's on a blue gamer chair.
So you're just saying that the guitar is tasteful? Because it seems like this person is not afraid to, spend the money to get the quality goods.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's like tasteful, like a nice looking guitar.
This song's fucking good. This is also a good cover.
Yeah, I was wanting to hate on it, but
nah, you can't. It's good.
The acoustic guitar looks really nice too.
The gamer chair's got it.
Sometimes it's all in the lumbar support. Yeah, if I don't look at this guy also, it sounds really good.
Yeah, I find if I click away, it's better.
to say like birds of prey circle over our hearts, vultures in the ash, separating skin from bone. So epic. Such an epic way to describe like a girl being mean or whatever.
This song is friggin' epic.
It is.
But it's like the best version of something being so epic.
Yeah. It's so good. Okay, this looks like the same guitar. We've seen this guy before. Is it actually this? No, it's not the same exact guitar.
Oh, this is the guy with the motel room painting on the wall.
Yeah, this is Mike Live 1285.
He's really throwing his head back for those whoa-whoas. It looks like a cartoon dog, just howling horny.
I don't know if I've said this on the pod before. I feel like I have said this before and people have gotten mad at me, but I really think that you're a wuss if you use a capo.
Oh, I mean, I stopped using them, but like when I discovered capos, I was like, oh, I'm gonna just write all my songs this way. And so like the first like 10 Junior Battle songs are just the same chords, but just capoed in different spots. Playing live was a fucking nightmare, and we did not look punk.
Like you did like the normal chords, but with capo instead of bar
like
chords?
exactly what this guy is doing. But then
so
that way all the
funny.
songs didn't sound identical because they weren't. Because it was like the first time I'd like really like tried to write songs for like a band on guitar proper.
I only like very recently realized that if I write songs in a certain spot, I'll always be able to sing them. So that's something that I learned.
Figuring out, you're like, oh, here's my range.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. I thought that I could just write them wherever, and then I would just sort of force it to work afterwards.
Yeah.
So that was that guy with his motel painting. I don't know if we want to say anything about him other than congrats on living in a motel, the ultimate luxury, I think.
Yeah. Great beard. Strong lines, well maintained.
That's true, but I find a groomed beard. This also came up while I was watching Outsiders International. The guy in Brighton in the UK, his beard was so groomed that it actually made me feel uncomfortable. Like it looked like it was full of dye or something. It was just this perfect black like mop, like a merkin on his face.
Damn. And what was he up to on LinkedIn afterwards?
You know, I usually don't look up the realtors. That's an interesting point. I don't care about them. They're more of a functional person on the show. I only care about the people.
Wow. Okay, that's interesting.
I'm erasing the realtors. I got to change that. So, okay, here's some more adults doing it acoustically. This is the Blink cover band Blinkers 182 doing it together.
Oh, the Blinkers.
Well, it's a classic quarantine video. Everyone's getting their separate camera setup.
A great oh man, what's it called? You know, the fake old school filters?
Oh yeah, like Red Giant or whatever.
Yeah, Red Giant. I can't tell if the drummer has like a bit of a beard or if their face is covered in tattoos. Because the way the like sort of like quality reduction Red Giant filter is working, like there's no difference between his like tattooed arms and face.
It's true. He kind of looks like he seems like a Sacha Baron Cohen pop punk character.
Yeah, totally. He's gonna tempt some bass players.
How does it sound like a Blink song though? I mean, it's a good song.
VHS 182. No, yeah, like there's no way you would ever guess that that's what this is.
I also don't understand. I don't want to be so mean to this guy, but like, what kind of person gets a Beatles throw pillow? That's so strange to me.
Well, maybe like it was a gift from a family member who knew they loved the Beatles.
And why do they have like fleshy gloves beside it that look like disembodied hands on their couch?
That is weird. The gloves are spooky as fuck.
Lying on the bedroom floor.
You should do a cover of this too.
I kind of want to now. What does this sound like? Does this sound like ladder Goo Goo Dolls after they're not rockers?
Yeah, like I feel like that's it, right? Like if this was like the single after Iris, come on, huge Buffalo energy on this song.
Oh, that record is so good.
I don't think I've ever listened to a Goo record.
Are you serious? Oh,
Just
you
the
got to.
singles.
You're gonna love them all. They're all so good. Like, there's so many sick songs on them.
They seem like cool dudes.
Yeah. That guy, like, the main Goo Goo Dolls guy looks like who Ryan Adams was trying to look like. Doesn't Ryan Adams look like he's trying to look like someone else? I think it's that guy.
Yeah, Johnny Resnick?
Is that his name?
Something like that. There's
Goo
a
Goo
video. His name. There's a video that I got served on YouTube like 200 times until I finally clicked on it, and it's like the Goo Goo Dolls playing Iris in Buffalo, like clearly at the height of Iris being the biggest song in the world, and it is absolutely shitting rain. And I ended up like watching the whole thing. I was like, this is an incredible performance. Because you're like, this is the most popular band to ever come from this like hard luck town, you know? Fucking just ripping this emotional song while like people are like biblically, cinematically drenched. It's fucking great. I'm going to send it to you.
Please do. Okay. Up next, we've got Jake Randall. The second A of Randall is spelled with an X, but not the first. So try to figure out that linguistic logic. You'll never figure it out. You'll be debilitated trying to figure it out. But this seems like some sort of... Don't love seeing him while he's singing it. Like, is this kind of like...
I don't like this at all.
Is it? But is it like? It's because he's really emoting with his mouth while he sings. But is this some sort of like normified Lil Peep influence making it like this? But it's like it's full normie now. Like it's like what 100 gex is going to be in 6 months or sooner.
Oh yeah. Oh shit, that's happening, eh?
It's already happening.
Fuck. Who's like the
But
most
they're
who's the
ahead
first
of
like
the-
mainstream pop artist who's gonna do like a total Gex ripoff song?
I wonder.
Billie Eilish.
Probably.
Wow.
Like actually, this part's pretty sick.
This is great. I don't like seeing it.
I'd like to imagine it's his mom doing these vibey angles.
Yeah, because this is a handheld camera.
Like pretty real home stew as well, with the foamies in the window.
How is this? Because the verse part, I absolutely fucking hated his voice. Like, I hate this. But the chorus is great. How is that possible?
I guess he sounds good when he pushes his voice, but not when he's soft. It's funny. I usually think that soft, high gain voice sounds really good, but this guy is just gives me the creeps.
Okay, so that's another crucial way that you and I are different. I just
Because
feel
you
like
love to push it to the very
everyone
limit.
should always be absolutely like just like a semitone above the top of their range.
That's like with our Hinder covers. I noticed that too.
Yeah.
And I usually push my voice more when I record, but lately I've been getting really more into like making it kind of ASMR-y or like really like dead inside.
The Hinder cover was actually really hard because my preference is to be as like up the octave as I can get, except that like that song actually has like crazy range. And so you need to be able to like give it in a lower octave and then still like hit the falsetto. I actually like changed the key of mine. Like I've recorded that like because it was all MIDI. I changed the key like 3 times, trying to figure out where I sounded like best because it's like it's a squirrely one.
Well, if you're that is the other thing. If you're kind of just like whispering it, the range doesn't really matter because you can find it when it's super quiet. No matter
you
what.
can whisper your way through it.
So that was Jake Randskol. This is 1 minute covers is the channel. This is an electric guitar cover of No Hard to Speak of. Once again, a real visual treat for us. Just this, like, how was this uploaded within the last year? This.
Wow.
The quality of the video is unbelievable. The video, I mean, the bedroom looks like it's about 10 square feet. There's like a Xbox 360 controller on the bed, and then the bedspread is this like bizarre, like, I don't even know, Renaissance painting that old people would have. And then there's like cords everywhere. And
It's hanging.
Is that a hand sanitizer dispenser on the wall?
Yeah. Is this a bathroom? Like at a chain restaurant?
But the door looks so fake also. The guitar's so out of tune.
And out of time. I love this.
It's so good.
Wow.
Oh, and then it ended. I thought I accidentally paused it. It's only 1 minute long. Oh, because the channel's 1 minute covers, of course.
Gotta stick to your gimmick.
Is it always in this same bizarre room?
I don't know. That's
Let's see.
worth.
Falling in Reverse, they've covered 5 Seconds of Summer. They've done a lot in this 10 square foot tiny room.
Yeah, and Always in the Corner.
They covered Cigarettes After Sex. Oh my god, amazing. Cool channel. I really like it.
Great concept, perfectly executed.
Well, actually, if you scroll back enough, they used to have a whole bunch of like music posters on the wall. And it used to be a different color. The room used to be red.
Oh, minimalist now.
Yeah, they've embraced minimalism. Okay, up next, second last cover. This is from the Philippines, and it is live. It's a band called Katumbol, and it's live at a venue called Tippy's Bistro, which is pretty great. I'd love to go there, especially seeing this. This is the vibe, absolutely.
Okay, so this is like, I mean, it reminds me of like a venue in like Austin, which I guess is the only place I've really been where like it feels like all the stages are like outside the back of the bar.
Yeah.
So this is definitely outside, and the whole thing looks like weirdly circus-esque. Like
It's
the colors
very circusy.
are like circusy, and then
It
there's
almost
like
looks like one of those when you walk by a tattoo shop and you're like, I wonder who actually goes to this tattoo shop. It's like that aesthetic.
yes, exactly. What is this called? Tippy's Bistro?
Yeah.
Where? Oh, there I haven't seen. That's what I. In the Philippines?
Yeah.
Oh, this place is okay. So it's got 4.8 stars on Facebook, 4.5 stars.
The exterior of Tippy's Bistro is cool as hell. I'm just Google searching.
This place looks awesome.
They got pizza. It looks pretty gross. The food at the bistro doesn't look appetizing to me, but
I mean, they gotta serve food, you know.
yeah,
without
fucking
law.
laws.
Tippy's Bistro, a very nice place to chill with your friends, especially on a Friday night. They have good foods, live music, and friendly staffs. I believe it.
Okay, well, I mean, I respect these guys for rocking out. It sounds pretty awful, but also pretty cool. And I'd love to go to Tippy's Bistro.
If I had been tipping them back at Tippy's, I wouldn't have cared, though.
It's true. But that's what I was going to ask you. Like, if you are out with your friends going for a drink, and then they're like, "Oh, by the way, we have," but they're like, "Oh, we have like a person like doing covers tonight while you drink in here." Like, would you be stoked on that, or would you?
No,
Okay.
no surprise. Like, I'll go to a bad cover night, but I don't like to be surprised. Like,
But
if
you
it's
would
like,
go.
Oh, Chris is setting up acoustic guitar, and I was like, it's awful. No.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
I know why you had to check. I'm a little offended. It's fine.
You're
I'm not going to bother to check with you because I know you better than that.
You're right on the line of possibly loving it or not. Hard to say.
No.
And I think maybe you're lying to yourself also.
No, but
right now.
okay.
I think there's a
Are you-
chance that
wait,
you're lying.
no, because you described going out for a drink with some friends. If you're describing a situation where I've been out for drinks and then I stumble into a new establishment and there's somebody tinkling the ivories, maybe singing an Elton John song.
I mean,
That's
obviously, yeah, if you're going into like a dueling piano bar or something, I'd be into that. But I'm saying like it's like a guy, it's like someone's buddy, probably named Sean, but like spelled a weird way, and he's singing "Bro Hymn" on an acoustic guitar. Like even if you're like super cut, you're gonna be into that. I think probably.
I don't think so, man. You know what? I'll check with Ashley afterwards.
Yeah, I mean,
there's the way you view yourself, and then there's obviously the truth.
Exactly. I know you want to believe that you wouldn't.
That's
be into
what I
it.
think. I'm like, let's go somewhere else.
Okay, finally, this one comes from The Nation. This was hidden in plain sight for me to find on YouTube. This is uploaded by Luke Irving, a.k.a. the Teen Presidents. We've talked about our Bandcamp a few times tonight. I'm pretty sure the Teen Presidents is definitely on the Hinder comp. I can't remember if they're on Free Punk Lyrics, but definitely Teen Presidents artist name that's popping up all the time in The Nation. So this is the Teen Presidents from Blink-155, Luke Irving, covering No Heart to Speak Of. I always feel like we shouldn't talk over them when it's coming from our own family.
I know. I feel the same way. I just want to say though, I did like the little adjustment there in the chorus.
Yeah, it was sick. This kind of has a mixture of both of our preferred vocal styles.
Yeah, the Teen Presidents gets us.
I also think that's actually nice when it's like dead inside for half the song and then you push it at one point, then it feels more earned, maybe.
That's the Skiba method that you're describing.
I can't really figure out though what this sounds like. You know what I mean? And I kind of like that about it too. It's like it just sounds like someone doing like a kind of a, is it indie rock? I guess it's still pop punk, but it's like lo-fi.
Instrumentally, it sounds like Archers of Loaf to me.
Oh yeah, okay, I can hear that.
But then vocally, obviously, not at all. So like,
yeah, it's kind of its own new thing. Yeah. So shout out to the Teen Presidents and Luke
for inventing a new genre. This is a very, very big moment.
Oh, this is a good part, repeating it. Hell yeah! I love when it's like not. I love when it's like someone from the pod and then I don't have to pretend I liked it. Because I actually liked it a lot.
No, that was like legitimately sick.
And I don't think that that's ever actually happened, but maybe it has, but I don't think so. But if you felt like I wasn't sincere enough when I said I liked your music,
you might
I guess you're going to have to lay awake at night and figure out if I was or not now.
So Josiah, what are your thoughts, perhaps your final ones, on the song No Art to Speak Of by the band Blink-182?
I still like it, and I still don't think it's... my opinion hasn't changed. I still think it's good, but it's like... It's not that sweet pop-punk jazz that I want.
It's just not jazzy enough for you. I got to say, I'm interested in sort of what Bobby Olivier is selling, and I will kind of drive the song into the ground probably over the next 2 or 3 days and come back, battle-hardened, stress-tested, and be able to say if there's... But I feel like there is a chance that this is the best song on 9.
Really?
All of those covers were fucking great. It's a really good song.
It's true. Even the guy in the gamer chair with an acoustic guitar made it sound really nice. So
Yeah, like Blamey is so great, but like part of it is like the production, like just sort of, and also I think context. New Blink song in the summer. Like I fucking remember.
You gotta listen on some emo shit a little bit more.
Maybe I do. I just
by the way, when we did the rock show a couple weeks ago, that was the final. Or no, sorry, the week after.
Rock's How.
Don't Tell Me That It's Over was the final episode of Take Off Your Pants and Jacket. So people were sad that we didn't say our final thoughts on that album. So I just want to say about that album, it's pretty good.
It's 60% great, but the shitty songs are so fucking bad.
They weren't on your iPod is the thing about that.
That's what I'm saying. And not much has changed except that you were right about Reckless Abandon.
Please enjoy our interview with a world-renowned poetry academic now. Welcome to Blink 155. We have a very special guest this week. I'm very excited to introduce the American poet, Edward Hirsch. How are you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Not bad at all. I guess, I mean, is that just how you would introduce yourself, a poet? I know that you kind of write poetry, but also write about poetry. So you're kind of on both sides of the conversation.
Yes, I would say that I'm a poet and an advocate for poetry. And I've written a lot about poetry to try and bring poetry to a wider audience. So I've written a lot of criticism, and I see that as part of my project.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think that even in my own life, maybe I've sold poetry short growing up, or I haven't really taken the time to consider it. I mean, what do you think is the barrier that prevents sort of the layman from getting into poetry?
You know, I wrote a book called How to Read a Poem and Fall in Love with Poetry, and I see that you're the audience for that book.
Yeah.
I think that there are a lot of things. One, it's not in the culture anymore. Two, it's taught so badly. People distinguish it from people love rhyming in song, for example, but they don't like it in written poetry because it's used as a cudgel against them.
Right.
So I think the way that people have used education and poetry has turned people away from it. And the wide readership of How to Read a Poem suggests to me that there are a lot of people who feel there is something in poetry for them, but they just have been turned away. And as an American poet, I think it's like, let's talk by the side of the road. I believe in a democratic ethos and inviting everyone into the tent.
Right. Excellent. Amazing. Well, that's kind of another question I had for you, and sort of this conversation will be all over the place because it's a very interesting crossover here. But I guess I'm curious as well, is there a difference between song lyrics and poems? And is it possible? I know a lyric can be poetic, but are all lyrics poems by definition, or?
You know, there are many cultures where the word for song and the word for poetry is exactly the same.
Okay.
And in traditional oral cultures, there's really no distinction. It's only in cultures where there's print that there's a difference between music and poetry. And I mean, in English literature, that was a distinction that started to take place in the 15th and 16th century. Before that, there was no difference between song and poetry. But then they did start to part. And I myself think that although there's tremendous overlap, they're not exactly the same thing.
Right. I mean, I
guess. So when you're listening to a contemporary song, it's not the same experience that you're having when you're reading a written text.
Uh-huh. I guess I think because I'm also very interested in quote unquote low culture and kind of like bad lyrics, like lyrics that are just poorly written. Could that still be considered poetry, or is there a quality barometer of poetry, I guess is what I'm asking?
I'm not eager to make this distinction. I mean, some people are. They're eager to bar the gates.
Yeah.
I see it all as continuous, as all part of the same thing with various gradations. I don't like it when, I think, for example, a lot of hip hop lyrics have so many qualities of poetry. I don't want to say they're not poetry. I think they are.
Right.
What I don't like is when people say, well, hip hop lyrics are poetry, but written poetry isn't poetry.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that it's all continuous, that there's space for everything, and that certain kinds of written poems do things that oral poems don't do.
Right.
And music supplies something to certain kinds of lyrics that written lyrics don't have. Mm-hmm. So they have to go without that. So they have to do something else.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but to me, it's a series of gradations and changes and differences. I'm not so interested in distinguishing intrinsic qualities that are totally different.
Right.
For example, there's something called a prose poem, which is, most people think poems are something that is written in lines.
Yeah.
But then as soon as you say a poem is something that's written in lines, there are going to be some people come along and say, well, this is a poem. I'm calling it a poem, and it's not written in lines. It's written in prose.
Right.
I'm not so interested in saying that's not a poem. Uh-huh. I just say that the prose poem does something a little different than the poem in lines do.
Okay.
And I'm interested in figuring out what that is.
Okay.
And I would say that's the same thing with bad lyrics and with good lyrics and with song and with written poems. And I don't think any one of them disallows the other.
Right. Okay. Interesting. So let's get to the sort of titular topic of this podcast, which is, what is your, I guess before we get into the nitty gritty, what is your general awareness of the band Blink-182? What is that, when you hear that phrase, what do you think of?
I can't, I confess that I don't know that much about Blink-182 myself, but my son Gabriel loved Blink-182. It was his favorite band. And so I was very aware when he was a teenager that Blink-182 existed. And sometimes he'd hold up the phone and say, listen to this, Dad. And then I'd be hearing a drum beat like that. So it's not I can't say, I don't want to pretend it's my band.
Yeah.
But it was Gabriel's band. And therefore I knew about it, and it meant something to me because it meant something to him.
Right. And then Gabriel sadly passed away some time ago, and then you've written, is it a book-length poem? Is that right?
That's right. Gabriel died, and then I wrote a book-length poem called Gabriel, a Poem.
Okay. And that's why you're here, because I should explain for the listener. So somebody has pointed out to me that not only do you make reference to Blink-182 in the book, but one of my absolute favorite Blink-182 songs, which is a very deep cut that no one talks about, but you've used it in the intro to the book, the lyrics to Strings.
Yes, I mean the reason I'm here, and the reason that I came to your attention is because my poem for Gabriel begins with an epigraph from Strings, because that was his favorite song. And the lyric, the section of it that meant the most to me, thinking about him, because I looked at the lyrics much more closely after he died. Before that, I knew the song, but I hadn't really paid that much attention to it. Was the section that began, I would do anything, and that's what scares me so bad. Don't want to live my life alone. Don't want to go back to what I had. Don't want to spend my life without all those special things. Don't want to walk around being tied to anyone else's strings. It seemed to be incredibly poignant, and to say something deeply about Gabriel himself and why he might have liked it, and it seemed to describe him. So I used it as the epigraph. And related to this is that people think of poetry as high culture.
Right.
And when I was writing my book-length poem for Gabriel, I didn't want a poem. I wanted a poem that was literary, and I wanted it to be an elegy, but I didn't want a poem that was high culture. I wanted a poem that was actually accommodated itself to what Gabriel was actually like. And so instead of changing Gabriel to be like poetry, I felt it was important to try to change poetry to be like Gabriel. And that's why Blink-182 figures in. Right. Because that's closer to his sensibility.
Yeah, that's amazing. And so I guess specifically about those lyrics, what is it that is so poignant to you about about the strings lyrics?
Well, Gabriel was so reckless, and so I would do anything was really Gabriel, and then I would do anything, and that's what scares me so bad. Is the shocking thing that Gabriel would do anything. He was incredibly reckless, and he didn't have the brakes. And that lyric captures that. And then he goes, "I don't want to live my life alone. Don't want to go back to what I had." I mean, he was so pained in his childhood by being different, and he was so eager to find friends and to find other people out of his difference. He didn't want to spend his life without those special things, without other people. And yet he also didn't want to be tied down, didn't want to be held back, especially by conventional norms. So the song seemed to express something about his inner life, at least to me.
Wow. Yeah, that's really powerful. And that the opening line really did always stand out to me as well, but I appreciate hearing you kind of contextualize it further. And it is interesting that something that was probably written by that's Mark Hoppus singing from the band, and he would have been, I think, like late teens or very, very early 20s when he wrote it. And I think that's the other thing, is that maybe people like me who are not as aware of poetry think that it needs to be belabored so much, but I would imagine he probably just sat down and wrote those lyrics like on the spot.
I don't think that how someone wrote a poem or wrote lyrics tells you much about the end result. Sometimes people spend years writing a lyric, and it comes out and you think they wrote it in 5 minutes. Sometimes they wrote it in 5 minutes and it looks like it took them years. I mean, there's just no way to tell. But it does have to come. There has to be something that comes together both formally and emotionally.
Right.
That's what I think makes a good song, and that's what makes a good poem.
Mm-hmm. So elsewhere in Gabriel, you do mention, I believe, Travis Barker's drumming, right?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, I guess just tell me a little bit about that. And I just the nerd in me has to tell you that it's not, Travis Barker wasn't in the band yet when they recorded strings, but
oh really?
Yeah. That's neither here nor there.
Sorry, I didn't know.
No worries.
Yeah. What I said is that he played. Now that you say that, I realized he played strings for me, but he didn't say Travis Barker was on it.
Right.
And it didn't occur to me that he wasn't on it.
Yeah, because strings is I love the drummer before Travis Barker, who was more of kind of a brash, like straightforward, really fast drummer, whereas Travis is more of a showboat. And so that's kind of the difference in the playing.
I wish I had talked to Gabriel about the other drummer too. I didn't really know there were two drummers.
Yeah. His name was Scott Rayner. He was kind of in it, but then I think Travis Barker is the one who launched them to be kind of international superstars.
Well, you're kind of schooling me on this.
Yeah.
The only reason is because Gabriel mentioned Travis Barker, and so that's the only way I knew. And in my poem, there's a stanza where I go about Gabriel. He loved pretending he could play the hi-hat and crash cymbal like Travis Barker, the tattooed drummer from Blink-182.
Yeah.
Those are the lines. And that Gabriel aspired to be like Travis Barker because Gabriel liked to play the drums, but he didn't have the patience to learn them.
Right. Amazing.
Yeah.
That's so cool. So what year did Gabriel pass away, and sort of what year is all of this taking place that you're remembering the drumming?
This is 8 years. I mean, Gabriel died 8 years ago. He was 22. And this would have been, that I'm talking about, would have been before that. So we're probably talking about, I don't know, 2000 somewhere. Wow. He's born in 88, so it'll be 18, I don't know.
Okay, so
2000 and something.
Right. Okay. Huh. Yeah. Just.
I mean, Travis Barker had already joined the band. So
he had. Yeah. Don't worry. I'm not.
You would know what year that would be.
Yeah, that was like 2000 or something, or 99.
Yeah, so. I think he came into it already. Travis Barker was already.
Yeah, but I mean, I really do think that Gabriel's favorite song, being Strings, just tells me a lot about Gabriel, and that he was a cool guy who kind of dug a little bit deeper into just kind of liking the hits or whatever. So that's cool to me.
Yeah, I didn't know that. We didn't really talk music that much.
Right. What kind of music do you listen to?
I'm more of a jazz guy.
Right.
And given my age, I'm like a cool jazz guy. And I mean, in the sense of, Coltrane and Parker.
Nice.
And that. And then I like folk music of my era. I love the lyrics for Bob Dylan and various other Joni Mitchell and various other people of that vintage.
Yeah, that makes sense. Cool.
When Bob Dylan won the Nobel Prize, my response was, "Poor Leonard Cohen."
Yeah. Amazing. So, did you happen to read the lyrics of the newer Blink-182 song that I had sent you?
I did.
And so this kind of, I'm curious.
No heart to speak of.
Yeah, maybe I'll get your thoughts first before. I don't want to color the conversation. Not that I doubt I could convince you either way, but I'm curious what you thought of these newer lyrics.
I enjoyed them very much. I mean, it's a song. It's not really meant to be read, I don't think. For example, the beginning, oh, 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 oh.
Right.
That doesn't really work reading it.
Uh-huh.
That really needs to be sung, I think, is my guess. But I was moved by the lyrics themselves, and it seemed to me the thing that was striking about it, what I liked was that the song is kind of bewildered. The singer is kind of bewildered that someone has left him for a reason that he can't understand. He says no reason. That seems to me very unlikely. People don't usually leave someone for no reason, but whatever it is, he doesn't know.
Right.
And he's clueless, and he's trying to capture the feeling. And the thing that struck me that I would say is maybe postmodern about it is its inadequacy. It sort of suggests the inadequacy of language to capture the feeling.
Right.
It just can't, no heart to speak of. I don't have the language for this. I don't understand this situation. There's a beautiful poem by William Carlos Williams called The Widow's Lament in Springtime. And the thing that's so beautiful about that poem is the woman she's so sad, but she doesn't know why she's so sad. She's overwhelmed by a feeling that she doesn't understand. And I feel that's partly what's going on in this song, that the speaker is trying to capture something that he doesn't understand because it's an event that he doesn't know what his part was in it.
Wow.
Does that sound right to you?
That sounds, now I really do want to read your book because you're making me like the lyrics that I thought I didn't like, but now I feel, because contrasting this with Strings, which I feel like is such, to me, a raw expression of sort of adolescence and feeling kind of frustrated and this raw energy. To me, when I look at these newer Blink-182 songs, I feel like every line is too belabored and overwritten, and it just feels like it's so much to parse at once. But sort of hearing you say about the postmodernity of it helps me kind of see that there's more to it.
Yes, it's more labored than Strings, but it doesn't, even so, you'd think that from all that labor, the person would understand what's happened to him.
Right.
But in fact, he's still confused. He still doesn't know is that all you have? Is that all you have to say? And so it really comes up to the limits of language. And so here where I think that the idea of something coming spontaneously to the speaker or something coming in a labored way to the speaker is not really to the point.
Right.
The point is really what's the meaning and what's the significance. And Strings is kind of about a kind of impulsivity that you can't contain and it scares you. This is about something that's already happened to you, but you don't understand it.
Right. Wow. Yeah, no, that's I love it. I wish that I could. I wish you were on the podcast every week, helping us understand these lyrics. Okay, well, just finally, before you go, I know you have a newer book, and you had emailed me one of your newer poems that not anyone else knows, but there's a reference to Blink-182 hidden in your newer poem as well.
Yes, I have a new book called Stranger by Night, And this is a poem called The Unveiling, which I don't know if you know what that is, but The Unveiling is a year after a funeral. People come back to the cemetery to open the stone and lay it to unveil the stone.
Okay.
And so the setting of this is standing in a cemetery at Gabriel's grave. The Unveiling. Instead of a pebble to mark our grief or a coin to ease his passage, you placed a speaker at the top of his head, and suddenly a drum beat came blasting out of the grass, startling the mourners on the far side of the cemetery, clanging the trees, scattering the swifts that had gathered around the stone like souls of the dead, souls that were now parting to make way for a noisy spirit rising out of the dirt.
Wow. That's very powerful.
So this came out of a real experience, which is we were there, and I was devastatingly sad. It was extremely gloomy. My partner had decided that she knew what to do because we didn't have a ceremony or anything. Gabriel wasn't religious. And so out of the gloom, we said something, and then my partner took an MP3 player and put it at the top of the headstone and blasted Blink's 182 song Strings incredibly loudly. And my ex-wife said it's too loud. And we said, yeah, that's the point. And it was a pretty deserted cemetery, but not entirely deserted, but the noise just filled the whole cemetery. And it felt really joyous, and it felt really right. And it felt really that it captured something of Gabriel's sort of flamboyant spirit and his kind of reckless nature. And I felt totally jubilant about it. And then, many years later, after that, I ended up writing this poem.
Wow. That is unbelievable.
Blink 182 is not mentioned by name, but they gave us the experience because by playing that song, we all felt Gabriel's presence.
Yeah.
And
wow.
So to me, that's a tremendous gift of art.
No kidding.
To companion you in your grief.
Wow.
So I'm very grateful to the band for that experience.
That is so cool. Wow. Thank you so much for sharing all of this with us. I mean, this has been really enlightening and definitely a real journey. And so is that book out now?
Yeah, that book has just come out this spring.
Okay, excellent.
It's called Stranger by Night.
Okay, so we'll mention that. And then obviously, is there anything else that you want to plug or anywhere that people can go to learn more about you and your work?
I mean, I have a website, edwardhirsch.com.
Okay, excellent.
And I mean, I'm hoping you'll mention Gabriel, a poem.
Yeah.
And Stranger by Night, and that's good.
Okay, great. Well, Edward, thank you so much for this. This has been amazing.
My pleasure. I'm glad to talk to you. Take care of yourself.
I would do anything in that